Hello there, everyone. So look at me. I'm all in a t-shirt, unshaven, got my hair all unkempt. I guess this is the new business casual these days. So I'm going to address something now that I've, again, dealing with all the changes that have been going on. I wanted to talk about something that I've noticed going on in terms of networking and how it's been affecting me. I want to talk about how it's been affecting me and see if you can relate and what you think of my thoughts and how I'm going about this. Now, this will affect not only translators but all types of actually pretty much everyone working from home. So everyone in the States, we're called non-essentials. Everyone non-essential because all the essentials are out there on the front line, doing the hard work. And so while we're staying at home, please stay at home. While we're staying at home and trying to get our jobs done here, I'm trying to kind of gauge how the scenery is changing and how to act differently and what we can do to act differently. And more specifically in terms of networking. So networking is something that I've been trying to do more of lately. And as many of you might know, if you've seen other videos, I'm pretty introverted. I don't like networking all that much at all. And so I'm trying to push myself to do more networking. And I've joined associations around here and tried to network more and tried to go about it. And it was a whole thing. But, I was getting a lot better. In fact, yeah, anyway. So the problem is now there's no more networking. No one's going to any of these events. What they're doing is they're doing online events. They're all on Zoom or WebEx or any one of those things. And you're basically talking to someone or listening to someone, more likely, watching them over Zoom, Skype, WebEx, something like that. And you don't get the networking part because the networking part used to be before the event where everyone would, you have a drink or something like that and you get to meet people, exchange business cards, or during the event you sit next to someone, you get to talk again, maybe after the event you hang out and blah, blah, blah. You don't get any of that now. Now you log on, you have the speaker or whatever it might be, and maybe you can ask some questions. You either type them in or maybe you can speak them depending on what type of event it is, and if you're on WebEx or Zoom or whatever. And then that's it. Then everyone logs off and that's the end of the thing. So in a way you get the speech and you get to get the information, but you don't get any of the networking part, which for many of us sort of defeats the purpose because let's face it, the information is always interesting. And pretty much all the events I go to, I really love the information I get, but that doesn't necessarily help me business-wise, right? And what helps me business-wise is the networking. And so how do you address this? So I just wanted to go about how I've been trying to address this. So, the big disadvantage here is that obviously you're not meeting people face-to-face and not dealing with them face-to-face. But I tried to look at maybe some of the good points or the advantages that there are. So, I'm here in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I've signed up for the World Trade Association, the World Affairs Council, the Chamber of Commerce here, stuff like that. But maybe I would be interested in doing business with some other city, like, I don't know, Oklahoma City, right? And so if I'm interested in Oklahoma City for some reason, well, guess what? They're doing all these same events and they have the same associations as well. But I don't have to worry about having to go there and meet people, but all of them are being held online. Usually they're free or, it's free to register or something because let's face it, they don't have to deal with providing drinks or food for anyone or getting a venue or anything like that. It's just online. So the more the merrier, right? And so if I have whatever interest it might be in a different city, like say Oklahoma City, then I can see what events their Chamber of Commerce and their World Affairs Council is holding and try to attend those events. So this means that you're not really constrained geographically. Obviously, this could be different cities. It could be different countries as well. And if you're a translator, presumably you deal with languages of at least 2 different countries. But it could also be different cities within the same country that you might be interested in networking with. So, okay, so that's great. So you can attend events in different cities and different places, but you still don't have the networking part. And how do you deal with that? So I kind of wanted to describe a bit how I've been dealing with this and then maybe get your thoughts on it and see what you think and if you agree, if you disagree, or if you would change something, et cetera, et cetera. What I do usually is and I've mentioned this before. In fact, I have a course up on Udemy called How to Network for Introverts because I really did quite a bit of research on this. But unfortunately, this is for networking face-to-face. But what I try to do is anytime there's an event, say there's a speaker, I research the speaker ahead of time and I prepare some questions ahead of time. I also try to research any organizer, the important people who are organizing it, any names I can come across, just so I get an idea of who they are. And what I try to do now is I attend these events, so I'm still doing all this research on the people. I try to prepare some questions ahead of time, but I find it better maybe not to ask the questions during the event. Frankly, if you're asking the questions, more often than not, it'll be a typed question that they'll address later. And I've seen it, on WebEx, other participants don't even see the typed question. Only the person making the presentation sees them, and then and answers the question. So you get your question answered, but if you're there for networking, it's useless. And in Zoom, depending on the number of people, maybe we can do it. But let's face it, if it's a big presentation or something, you don't really get your say. So my advice, or at least what I'm doing, is to prepare the question ahead of time. Don't ask the question, but find the person who's making the speech, all the people you've done research on, find them on LinkedIn. And I am trying to basically find them on LinkedIn and then add them on LinkedIn. You can also not add them. And at the beginning, I was kind of doing that. I was more shy, and so I wouldn't add them on LinkedIn. I just click on their profile, because when you click on someone's profile, they see that you've clicked on their profile. But I think that's kind of useless, especially if they're a speaker or one of these organizers. They're pretty much a connector. They're going to have a bunch of people click on their profiles. They can't keep track of each person. So I think it's better to add the person on LinkedIn. So that's what I've been doing. I add the person on LinkedIn, and then I still don't ask the question. And in fact, your question might not get answered, but if the point is networking, not the question, then it doesn't matter as much. The point is to network. So I add the person on LinkedIn, and then if they add me back, then I write something like, "So glad you added me back. I just saw your speech, and it's something very near and dear to me, something I hold, that I find very important, and I'm glad I was able to attend." Something complimentary that just says thank you, basically. And then I kind of see, because I feel like more often than not, you might get no response, or you just get, "Yeah, cool, thanks," and then that's it. Or you might get a response that says, "Yes, and I'm really glad you liked it. I feel it's very important, and it's an important thing we should keep track of and keep doing," or blah, blah, blah. If you find that they replied to you about the subject matter and are willing and able to talk about it, then at that point, I think you can ask that question, because this creates more dialogue with that person who made the speech, and that can be great for networking. Obviously, if you're attending the right events and with the right speakers, but something like this could help with networking and help you get new people, new contacts, new business contacts that can help you, even if you can't leave the house and meet them face to face. And even though you can't meet them face to face, you can find other events. Like, if you're an Italian translator and say you're in the north of Italy, you've been attending events around Milan. Well, now you can find the same events that might be happening elsewhere, like down in Sicily or Tuscany, because they're all happening online. Or if you do like Italian to French translations, maybe there are events happening in France or, Quebec. I don't know, something like that. And you can try to see with their Chamber of Commerce and those things what events are happening. So it's anyway, I'm still kind of experimenting and seeing how it goes. But that's kind of, I think, a possible good way to try to network in this day and age when we're not leaving the house, right? And so we can't meet anyone face to face. I find that LinkedIn is getting a lot more usage. At least for me, I'm seeing it be a lot more active. So I think it's important to be active on LinkedIn these days. And I think this is a great way to do that. And basically add the person on LinkedIn, start a conversation. And also then you start getting them on your feed and you get more updates that they have. And this creates more of a rapport, again, with these organizers, with these speakers, and with anyone else based on your judgment that you would like to add. And so, yeah, that's pretty much it. And, we'll see how it goes as time goes on, if it works and how it works and stuff like that. But for now, this is a path that I'm following in terms of networking. So we'll see how it goes. Please feel free to let me know what your thoughts are on this and if you think it will work well or not work well or any issues you think there might be with it. But in terms of not being able to leave these four walls in terms of networking, I feel like that's probably one of the better bets. And I try, because at first when I heard that I've been trying to do all this networking, I really don't like face-to-face networking and attending these events. And so when we're not having these events, I'm like, okay, cool, I don't have to think about it. But then I figured, no, I really should keep trying to do this and try to figure out a way to try to make it work at least. And so that's what I've been trying to do. So anyway, please let me know if you have any thoughts, if you agree, if you disagree, or whatever about this, or how you've been trying to basically keep networking in this day and age, right? And yeah, I'd be curious to hear about it actually. So that's pretty much it from me for now. Everyone, stay at home, stay safe, and I'll talk to you next time. Okay, thanks. Bye. Savedum.